Early on in my life, I didn't enjoy reading books. I was one of those kids that enjoyed playing sports and being outside and running and sweating, and reading books just didn't appeal to me. Finally, with some help from my parents and my teachers, I was able to find a book that I could sit down and read, and that book was If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. And just reading about a mouse that could talk and eat a cookie just amazed me and opened up a whole new realm of possibilities of other books I could read, and the fact that books can be interesting. So I started reading the Bernstein Bears and immediately loved the books because they were just this loving, happy, crazy family that always had like a crisis and then got along towards the end of the book, and it was just something I could relate to because they had different ones like junk food and messy room, and it was just something I could really get into and made me enjoy reading a lot more. The more I read, the more my cravings for adventure and fantasy books grew, and Green Eggs and Ham and Where the Wild Things Are were a couple of the many books that helped satisfy this craving because it provided me a sense of adventure and let my imagination run wild, and I really enjoyed them. The Harry Potter series was by far the biggest influence on my life as a kid growing up. It provided me with a means of escape from my own world and introduced me to my very own fantasy-like world that I could explore over and over through the books. My favorite characters like Harry Potter inspired me to be brave and never give up in my own life. No matter what the situation, I thought, hey, if he could kill a giant snake with a sword, then I can get through this test. Like most people, as I went through high school and college, I began to read books less and less. And I began watching movies a lot more, because they were way more appealing and exciting to me than reading a book. I remember one day looking through the articles on CNN and seeing an article about the brain and how we think. And I immediately became fascinated at the mystery surrounding what exactly makes us intelligent. One of the movies that really fascinated me and intrigued me regarding the mysteries of the brain and intelligences was the movie Phenomenon with John Travolta in it. In this movie, he plays a man named George that becomes extremely intelligent overnight from a meteor that falls from the sky. Here's a clip showing the main character George naming as many mammals as he can in 60 seconds.
60 seconds. Ready? Go.
60 seconds. Well, how would you like that? How about alphabetical? Aardvark, baboon, caribou, dolphin, eel, hippus, fox, gorilla, hyena, ibex, jackal, kangaroo, lion, marmoset, Newfoundland, ocelot, panda, rat, sloth, tiger, unicorn, varmint, whale, yak, zebra. Now, varmint is a stretch, so is Newfoundland. That's a dog breed. Unicorn is mythical, eohippus is prehistoric, but you aren't being very specific now, were you, Bob?
The fictional character in this story, as well as in the movie Good Will Hunting, inspired me to be really intelligent as they were portrayed in the movies. And I went on to try to achieve this through the only means I knew how: books. I think it's both funny and ironic that movies, in a sense, encouraged me to read more books. Some of these books through my college and high school life were Pendragon, Twilight series, and the Hunger Games series, all of which revolved around a fantasy-like world that I grew up loving as a kid. So using these experiences that helped me in my classroom would also help my students with things like word problems. So rather than just using any old word problem, I would use one that they're interested in, such as like a celebrity or a movie, which will make them more focused on it and want to do it, and not even realize that they're learning. I know this works because I've actually had a teacher in my own life do this exact thing. My 7th grade math teacher, Miss Warner, made a lot of problems about racing in movies that were familiar with us to make us more engaged and attentive towards the problem. The key is to make learning fun in such a way that students don't actually realize that they're learning. Using iPads and other technology to help intrigue students into learning would help them and influence them whether they even knew it or not. Just how my books growing up that I read influenced me greatly, even though I didn't really know how much until I actually grew up.